What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for Superman. I just got back from the theater, man. Finally got to see it. I had to wait like the following week and had to be ducking spoilers left and right to make sure, I didn't get spoiled. Which I did see some mild spoilers, which we'll talk a little bit in the spoiler section of the video. One of them is a big one that I think all of us have saw that we were all probably expecting was going to appear in the film in some form or fashion, which we'll talk about in the spoiler section because, that's at the end of the film. But overall, man, this was an incredible film. The DCU has started off strong, man, with the first Superman movie. This movie is without a doubt a home run, slam dunk, whatever the fuck you want to call it, man. This film is fucking incredible. Now, let's just start the review off here and by addressing the elephant in the room. David Cornswint, I don't know if I pronounced his last name right. The new actor portraying Superman. Let's get it out of the way right now. Is he better than Henry Cavill? Is this film better than Man of Steel? As you guys know, I'm a big Snyder fan, not the Snyder cultist. Those guys are kind of insane, not gonna lie. From the shit like that, and these people are like literally trying to like review. I don't know if they actually did review bomb, but I remember some people saying they were gonna review bomb. I know there was something about this whole fight against. They did this whole thing on their Reddit about standing against this film and boycotting it or whatever, man. Snyder cultists are insane, man. I don't know why. I don't know what they're being, especially when Zack himself is like, oh yeah, man, I'm excited to see Superman. I can't wait to watch it, man. I don't know why they acting like there's this whole beef thing between them, man. I don't know, man. Whatever the case may be, man. The answer to both those questions is no. To the shock of nobody, the answer is no. No, David, at least in my personal opinion, is not a better Superman than Henry Cavill. Now, maybe my mind can be changed upon future versions and iterations as we see more of him as Superman in sequels, Justice League movie, whenever that eventually comes out, any other appearances he may have in future DCU projects. And no, I do not think this is a better film than Man of Steel. I prefer Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel is an overall better film than this film. But either way, man, this is still an incredible film, and he is an incredible Superman in his own right. Now that we got that out of the way, one last thing we got to talk about real quick before we jump in properly is, as you guys know, the trailer for the movie The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's next film, was attached to this film. It was also attached to Jurassic World Rebirth, which you guys know I already talked about it a little bit in my review of that film when I reviewed that movie. But it was also announced it'll be attached to this movie as well, and you guys always can see this movie in IMAX. So I was excited to watch this movie in IMAX, not only because it's Superman in IMAX and that's gonna look great, which the film looked great in IMAX. Just to say it right now, I figured it was because I saw bits of it. When we were at the AMC a couple times, we played the trailers for it in a few of the movies I saw at the AMC. It looked amazing there. Seeing in the actual film itself in IMAX, it was incredible there as well. That was cool. But obviously, I was really excited to see The Odyssey in IMAX. When I finally see the trailer for that movie, and yeah, man, it looks incredible in IMAX. As you guys know, the movie is filmed entirely in IMAX cameras. They've already have the pre-orders live a year in advance for the 70mm screenings of The Odyssey, which is kind of insane that they're already opening pre-orders for that movie a year in advance for that film. It's kind of insane, not gonna lie. But yeah, man, it looked amazing there, man. It looks incredible in IMAX, and I'm excited to see more of the film, future trailers of the film, and just to see more of the film. And I look forward to watching it next year. And as you guys know, it was just announced at Fantastic Four that the trailer for Avatar 3, Avatar Fire and Ash, is finally going to be coming and will be attached to Fantastic Four. So you bet your ass I'm seeing the movie in IMAX 3D just for the Avatar trailer. Like with Multiverse of Madness, I saw a movie in IMAX 3D exclusive for the Avatar Way of Water trailer, and I'm doing the same thing for Fantastic Four just for the Avatar trailer. I'm dead serious, man. And one other thing I wanted to, I know I've been rambling a lot, but there's a couple things in this movie I want to talk about before we jump right into the actual review. Is actually, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys would see that I actually did not go to the AMC this time to see this film. I went to the local Regal Cinema here in Fredericksburg because we recently moved. And now to kind of talk about the film, about that whole screen, because this is the first time I've been to this Regal in over a decade, man, like with the AMC, but even more so than the AMC. Because the AMC was the main theater we went to back when we were originally living here in Virginia. And we went to the Regal one time while we were still living here in Virginia initially, man. And I remember it was kind of not very well kept, man. Very broken down, man. Run down, I should say. I remember in the screening we saw for whatever movie we saw there. I don't even remember what we saw. The foam was chunks of foam were off the seats, man. Literally, it looked like a fucking war zone happening there, man. So it's kind of curious, you know, it's been 10 years. They've obviously renovated the place in that time. They've had an IMAX screen because I wasn't there initially, man. And I gotta say, man, it looked really good, man. At least from the bits of it we saw of him, man, the IMAX screen looked good. It was definitely different from how the AMC and the seats were definitely lower, but it was a great screen, man. So yeah, thumbs up for the Regal's IMAX screening. But yeah, anyway, enough me rambling about random junk. Let's get into the actual review itself. So, the movie is directed by James Gunn, as all of you guys know. The Gun Don't Miss, and stars David Cornswinkt. I keep saying I don't say his last name right. Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Milky Alcock. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Nathan Flillen, Isabella Merced, and many more. The plot of Superman is, when Superman gets drawn into a conflict at home and abroad, his actions are questions, given tech billionaire Lex Luthor the opportunity to get the Man of Steel out of the way for good. Now, first thing off, let's up with the cast, man. Obviously, I mentioned before, David, not a better Superman than Henry Cavill, as I mentioned before, just get that out of the way, man. But he's a great Superman, doesn't worry, man. He definitely sells the whole, you know, nerdy sort of like, you know, farm boy thing that Clark has, man. Like, you know, like that whole thing, which we never really saw much with Henry, probably just because he didn't really ever get the chance to. But he really gets to sell that whole farm boy from Kansas thing in this film, man. He's amazing in there, in that regard, man. Nicholas Hoult as Lex is incredible, man. Now, I had already seen tweets and other things from other people who've seen the film talking about how much of a hater Lex is. I've seen some fan art of it, man. I was like, okay, funny, you know, whatever. That did not prepare me. I almost feel people are almost underselling Lex. How much of a hater Lex is. My God, this dude is the biggest hater alive, man. There are certain things we'll get more specific about it, about his jealousy and whatnot in the spoilers cut, because there's like this one sequence in particular that just like, I'm like, bro. But yeah, he is easily the biggest hater alive. Nobody out-ops Lex Luthor in the DCU, man. No, sir. This dude is a level above haters. It's truly spectacular. It's truly something to behold, man, this film, man. It's just insane, man. Isabella, who you guys may remember as Dina in the last of Season 2 series, man, she plays Hawkgirl. She's amazing, man. Not gonna lie, one thing I found kind of weird about it is, like, every time she's in battle, she basically only, like, screams. Like, she does, like, the shriek. I don't know if that's accurate to the comics, because, like, I don't really know much about Hawkgirl. I've only seen like a couple episodes of the Justice League animated series and Justice League Unlimited. I only saw like a handful of episodes, but I remember every time she was on screen, like, screeching. Is that like a thing with her, man, that she just, when she fights, she just screeches? Thought that was a little bizarre, but yeah, she looks great in the film, man. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Hawkgirl in the film in whatever form that takes in any future any future DCU projects in the future, man. The next thing we absolutely gotta talk about, man, is Skylar Gisondo, for God's sake, who plays Jimmy. Bro, Jimmy got that riz in this film. And, like, I don't know how Jimmy is, you know, in previous, and how he is typically shown up in, like, other Superman projects, like the animated series. Like I said, that was not a show. I only saw like a handful of episodes on that show of the Superman animated series from the 90s, man. And, you know, of course, obviously, his, like, glorified cameo, we see him in BVS where he gets shot. So and also, of course, we see him in just in My Adventure with Superman as well, where he has this whole thing with Kara going on, which I really loved. But in this film, man, bro, Jimmy has unlimited charisma. He getting all the bitches in this film, man. All the ladies at the Daily Planet are smitten with him. They all want a piece of Jimmy Olsen in this film, man, which was kind of surprising. But yeah, man, he was awesome, man. Jimmy has this really cool like side plot that we'll get more in discussion. We'll get more into spoiler discussion later on in the film. But he was awesome, man. I absolutely loved him, and yeah, he was phenomenal, man. Nathan Fillion, if his name right, who plays Guy Gardner, man, amazing. I've known of Guy Gardner for a while because, you know, I know a little bit of the Green Lanterns, but I obviously haven't really engaged in any media surrounding him, because you guys know I'm not a big DC Comics guy. I haven't really read any, and I don't know if he's appeared in any of the cartoons. I think he was in the Green Lantern animated series from like the 2000s, but I never watched that show. But yeah, so this was more or less my introduction to Guy Gardner, man. amazing. I love this dude. He is a massive tool, but he is so fucking hilarious and so fucking entertaining, man. Nathan plays him perfectly, man. He literally calls the Justice League, or the Justice, I wouldn't call them, as the Justice Gang. That is their name for the film, man. We even get to see the Hall of Justice, we see getting built and during the film, which is a nice Easter egg, man. Which kind of surprised they were called the Justice Gang. I figured they would have been called like the Justice Society, or maybe just JLA, something to like lead us into the Justice League. But no, they just called them the Justice Gang. I don't know if they're eventually going to change it to the Justice Society, and then eventually they'll get thrown out of the team, and then we'll get like the proper Justice League team with Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Hal Jordan or fucking Jonathan Stewart, I believe the dude's name was, the Black Green Lantern. I think his name was Jonathan Stewart, if I'm correct. So yeah, like the proper Justice League team, whenever we get that to the actual Justice League film, where they're gonna keep them around and add them as a part of the team or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, that was kind of surprising, man. But yeah, he was awesome, man. As you saw in the trailer, you got the whole thing where him using the constructs, like you using constructs to create middle fingers, man. It's fucking awesome, man. And as someone that loves the Green Lanterns, man, and always thought they were cool, man, and someone that actually did enjoy the 2011 film when I was a kid, man, watched that original 2008 Green Lantern animated film. I think it was called like First Light or something like that, I think. I've always loved the Green Lantern. They were low key like my favorites. They were like my second favorite DC hero behind Batman when I was a kid, man. So, and I've always wanted to see Green Lantern. I remember when Justice League came out and we saw a Green Lantern for like a hot stick. I was like, oh my god, Green Lanterns, finally. So, as someone that's loved Green Lanterns, I always wanted to see them come back and see them in like a film or something, man. It was good to see a Green Lantern back on screen, man. And I was looking forward to the Lantern series. So that was cool, man. But yeah, the cast in general, man, is fantastic, man. No complaints here, man. And yeah, they're all great, man. But also, I want to give another big shout out to Anthony Carrigan, who you guys may remember as Zaz in Gotham, who he plays Metamorpho in this movie, man. And I just want to give a big shout out to him, because you guys may saw this recently. It came out, he did like an interview or whatever. Like, I saw this thing about pop up on my Twitter feed that basically once he was diagnosed with alopecia areata, I believe is what the disease he had, that like removes all your hair, man. People is like aging or whatnot, saying like you'll never work another day, you'll never act again, man, because he's not hot enough or whatever, man. And that didn't stop, man. So big shout out to him, because you guys know how much I loved him as Zaz in Gotham. He's great as Metamorpho, and I'm just happy to see the dude, still acting and still getting roles and whatnot, man. Just in general. And it's good to see him in 2 DC properties, man. So big shout out to him, man. Love him. So I'm glad. So he was amazing in the movie as well as Metamorpho. Now let's get on to the. No, we're done with all that. Let's get to the movie. So first off, man, like I said, the cast is phenomenal, man. David and Rachel have great chemistry as Lois and Lois and Clark. As you guys may know, if you guys are long-time subscribers to the channel, you guys know that famously I am a Super Wonder shipper. I have just never been really invested or really cared for Lois and Clark's relationship in any of the Superman media that I've consumed. Though, if you guys of course may know, I loved them in my adventures with Superman, and I dug them in Man of Steel, man. But then again, that was about it when it came to the relationship. I'm like, they're great in this movie as well, man. Like, they're great. I love them here, man. I'm excited to see more of them. I'm still a Wonder shipper. I'm still hoping one day we'll get that Super Wonder movie, a comic, a game, fucking something. I will literally take anything. You guys know, like when I was watching the Justice League, Crisis on Infinite Earth movies, I was like, oh my god, Super Wonder is in the movie, let's go. Literally, every time I get the smallest crow of Super Wonder, I'm always popping up. But so yeah, they're great, man. This is like the second, technically maybe third time I've enjoyed Lewis and Clark's relationship, man. So shout out to the film for that. But obviously, I still want Super Wonder in some capacity. Maybe one day I'll get that. One day I'll get it. But yeah, they're great, man. I already mentioned some of the other cast members as well, man. Nicholas Holt's great, man. The cast is phenomenal. The music for the film, man, is great. Obviously, we got those classic games, kind of Neil drop, where he drops in like random, pop songs or whatever, or regular song into the various actors, man. They're done so great. They're great in the Guardians, man. They're once again great here, man. The actual score itself, man, I love. Like, we got that rock Aerosmith sort of version of the remix of the original Superman theme, which we've seen in a bunch of the trailers, man. That's fantastic. The Superman theme specifically made for this movie is phenomenal as well, man. It's definitely sort of a mixture between the original John Williams Superman theme as well as Hans Zimmer. A really nice blend of the two. Definitely leaning a bit more towards Hans Zimmer's version, if you would ask me, man. And it's a phenomenal theme, man. I loved it, and yeah, it's a great theme. And the music overall, man, I thought was fantastic. The action sequences are phenomenal as well. James Gunn, you guys know that he did an amazing amazing job with the action, both Peacemaker as well as Guardians 3, especially Guardians 3 with that oneer, you know, in the hallway with the Guardians all teaming up together, man, that was fucking awesome. We get a lot of more scenes based, all the actions are basically kind of like that in this movie, man, and they're all phenomenal, and they're all well done, man, and I love them all, man. They were so cool, man. They were so, and I was like, there's like this big one we see in the trailers, where he's like using his heat vision to like laser a bunch of Lex's robots, man, that's also one of my favorite parts of the film. The battles between Lex, between Superman, as well as Ultraman, that one was hype as well, man. The one with the engineer was great as well. The one we see in the trailers once again when they get into the Fortress of Solitude, man, that one was fantastic. All the action sequences in this film are phenomenal, man. Absolutely phenomenal, man. And one other thing I gotta mention real quick before we jump right in, before I also gotta mention about the cast, man, is Eddie Gaskey, if I'm pronouncing his name right, who plays Mr. Terrific, man. This dude stole the show from me, man. I almost forgot to mention him, man, in this review, but he absolutely stole the show for this film, man. He is so goddamn funny. I love him, man. Every time he's on screen, man, like when he's complaining about Crypto eating his terrific spheres, man, and just like every other time he's on screen, man, the dude is just done with, man. As you guys remember, he was also in X-Men First Class as well, so a bit of a reunion with the First Class team with him and Nicholas Hoult. Being brought together for this film, man, and yeah, he was amazing this film, man, and yeah, I'm excited to see more of Mr. Terrific. I don't know really anything about Mr. Terrific. All I know of him was that he made a couple appearances in the Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, but this one was really my true introduction to Mr. Terrific, and I love him. And I think he's already been confirmed to get like a spin-off series as well, which is great to hear, man, because obviously I love him, and I'm glad to see whatever he has cooking up next for him, man. I want to see more of Mr. Terrific. He's fucking awesome, man. I love that. The fortress itself, I thought, was really cool. I like the way it was designed, where we got like these Superman like robots going in there to assist him, to assist Clark. And when he comes to the fortress, man, it's really cool, man. Like that was really cool as well. John and Martha Kent are pretty fun too. I liked how they definitely sell it on the old out of touch farmers, because like at the start of the start of the movie, man. Which, surprise my surprise, the movie starts out with that shot of Superman crash landing in Antarctica to like calls up Crypto to take him to the Fortress of Solitude. That's actually how the movie starts, which I was kind of surprised why that was the opening of the film. I thought that would be later on, but no, that's how the film started, which I was kind of surprised to see. As I was saying, they really like lean into the whole out of touch old farmers, because when we see Clark going through Metropolis to get to the planet, his mom is calling him, and she has it like set on the table on speakerphone, and she's like leaning over to the phone, screaming at it, be like, Clark, what? I know we don't want to bother, we don't keep you, boy. Like she's just screaming at it. I just thought that was really funny, man. And obviously one of the best parts of the film, man. This was obviously, you know, what James Gunn was really trying to do. Or trying to sell with this film, given, you know, obviously the response to Man of Steel and how controversial it was at the time, man, and honestly maybe still is, about the film being very hopeful. And the film succeeds in that on all fronts, man. This film really sells Superman as the symbol of hope. The movie is very hopeful, man, and it really sells that. And I'm gonna be honest, man, the movie made me tear up 3 times. I'm just being honest with y'all. I teared up 3 times watching it, and it was all during those sequences, including obviously Clark's ending speech at the end of the film, man, talking about humanity, man. I won't get into further in that, other for one, spoilers, and also I just don't remember the speech. Even if I would not be doing it justice. David performs that whole sequence perfectly, man, and yeah, the film really sells it on being a very lighthearted, hopeful film. So if you were someone that was not a fan of Man of Steel with its darker tone and everything, man, this is the film for you, man. And James Gunn really wanted to hammer that home with this film, man, as I mentioned, because of the response to that film, man, and he definitely succeeded in that fact, man. And one thing I also gotta say that I thought was funny, you guys may remember when Man of Steel came out, we had one of the dumbest critiques ever in film history, I dare say, where people were bitching that there was too much destruction in Man of Steel. I love on this movie, arguably has the same, if not more destruction than Man of Steel, and I haven't heard a fucking peep about it. Which I find funny. Now, you could also make the whole thing about Superman, like, you know, about the whole real reason people complain about because you don't see Superman saving up people, which I'm like, sure, I can kind of get that, but people saying the movie has too much destruction was one of the dumbest criticisms I've ever heard. And I find it funny that this film, and like, you know, those people are silent. I haven't heard people say like, oh, this film has too much destruction, there's too much destruction. Even though this arguably has way more destruction than what we saw in Man of Steel, I just found that funny, man. Like, yeah, that critique still annoys the shit, because it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, man. Like, the hate for that movie was so forced, in my opinion, if you ask me, man. The hate for Man of Steel is so forced. That's just my opinion. There's obviously more about the film I want to talk about, but I'll have to get some spoilers, so we'll jump right into my enigmas of the film, and we'll jump right into spoilers, which we'll get into all the nitty-gritties, and we'll really get into the cool shit that I like about some of the other cool shit in the film. So, first of the niggas I have, one, I wish the Kents had more of a role in this film, man. Like, literally, practically all of their screen time is in the trailers. I'm dead serious, but like obviously besides the one scene where he's like, when he's calling his phone, when they're calling Clark around the start movie, like, it is like the only scene of theirs that isn't in any of the trailers in some capacity. I'm pretty sure all of their scenes, in one way or another, are all in the trailers, which I found kind of surprising. And I wish that they focused a little bit more on them, man. Because, like I said, we saw the trailers. We also see these like flashback sequences when Clark was a child, and with Mom and Pop Kent. And I kind of wish we got. And I really like their scenes that we did. I mean, I wish we did get a little bit more of that. Maybe like one or two flashbacks of Clark as a child when he was like, when he was like growing up in Smallville, man. I do wish they gave it a little more of that, because I like what they saw of it. And the closer we see to the flashbacks was really cool, and I kind of wish they got a bit more focus. There's another thing about the film that I wish also got expanded upon, but that gets into spoiler discussion, so we won't get into that right here. But that was kind of like the main one I wanted to talk about. I wish the Kents got more screen time. They focus a little bit more, because like I said, practically all of their screen time is in the trailers. Practically all of them in some capacity. So here's when we get the final verdict, and then we'll get into spoilers. So obviously you guys do not want any spoiled. Here's your choice. So here's your chance to lead. So final verdict to the private known is a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said, we are now going to get into spoiler discussion, so if you guys do not want to get spoiled, leave. Now, let's get into the big one. Obviously, Supergirl makes an appearance. She makes a cameo at the end of the film, which is to the surprise now. But I think all of us knew that Supergirl was probably going to get like a cameo or something. What surprised me was that actually that we saw Supergirl in the actual ending of the film. I thought that was going to be like in the post credits or something, but no, they play that like basically right before the credits. They have Kara show him there, man, drunk off front, be like, "Hey, where's my dog?" Because you guys may know the storyline that that's going to be adapted in the Supergirl movie, which I think is called Woman of Tomorrow. I forget if it has a subtitle or not, but it's going to be based off a story that I believe Tom Taylor wrote, where it's just Supergirl getting drunk, on a planet with the red sun. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing it's based around. And Krypto had a major part in that comic. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, how's that going to tie in with this one?" Because Krypto's in this movie and everything. We found that Krypto is Kara's dog, and Clark was basically just like looking over Krypto until she got back to retrieve her dog to fuck off to some other planet to get drunk. So yeah, love the suit, man. This did get technically spoiled to me, because I did see the shot when they eventually, once the film came out after the opening weekend, they did give us our first look and like some photos of what Kara looked like in the film, man. So I kind of already got spoiled about this a little bit, and I saw some fan art as well. But the suit looks great, man. I love the look of the suit, man. And yeah, so I see what they have for the Supergirl movie and more of Krypto, man. Because Krypto was so much fun, man. I love Krypto. He was like honestly one of the highlights of the film, man. It's shocking he's completely CG because he looks so real, man. And actually, speaking of the CGI, man, I gotta say, the CGI overall I thought was fantastic, which obviously is due to the fact this movie had like a full year of VFX done for the film, rather than the MCU where it's like, what, 6 months? They definitely gave this movie a lot of time for the VFX artists to cook, and because of the VFX in the movie looks fantastic. CGI looks great, all the effects look phenomenal. One that actually kind of shocked me when I was waiting through the credits of the film is that actually ILM actually got to do some of the VFX in this film. They were credited. As you guys know, Lucasfilm ILM, otherwise known as is owned by Disney. I am shocked the mouse allowed their top VFX team to work on their direct competitor's superhero film. I'm kind of shocked that was even a thing. I figured the mouse would not even let them sniff a DC project. I don't know if they've done any previous DC work in the past or not. This is their first time or whatnot. But I thought that was a pleasant surprise in the credits when I saw ILM in the credits. Like, wait, what the fuck? ILM did the CGI for this film? They were one of the VFX groups they hired? Now damn, because I didn't think the mouse would let them anywhere near DC, but that was a pleasant surprise. Now as I was saying, like I said, I wish the Kents got more screen time, because like I said, we see like almost all their screen time was in the trailers, and I really like when they saw them, and then we get the flashback sequences especially near the end of the film when Superman is in the Fortress of Solitude and the robots say, like, "Hey, do you want some of your foot? You want the message from your parents?" It soothes him. And before, it's the message from Jor-El and his wife. I forget what Jor-El's wife's name was. Who's played by Bradley Cooper in the film, which I thought was interesting, man. And I was like, yep, Bradley definitely has that Jor-El look. You know what I mean? He has the look of Jor-El. So that was pretty cool. So that was pretty cool to actually got to see Jor-El in the film, man. I definitely prefer Russell Crowe's Jor-El compared to Bradley Cooper. one, he did more stuff in cool. You had that whole sequence of him directing Laura while he was going through the Fortress of Solitude. That scene was awesome, man. I just thought Russell Crowe was so good as Jor-El, and we saw in the opening of Man of Steel. But then when they played more shots of the flash between, like the one we saw in the trailers, but there was also a few other footage of showing Clark as a child and just overall growing up while in Smallville. And I wish we got like some longer scenes with those two, man. We got to actually really get to see like a flashback here or there between them, like because there were like some really cool stuff in those, and I wish they got expanded upon. Now, the only thing I wish they got expanded upon was Krypton. Now, I'm sure nobody's gonna like, oh my god, Glenn, we don't need to see Krypton. We've already seen it before Man of Steel and the original Superman, in the Donner Superman movie. We don't need to see, Krypton again, man. Which, true, but like the thing they did with this one I thought was interesting, where they actually, if I remember correctly, Jor-El is a scientist, and he set Clark off to Earth, or Kal-El, I should say, off to Earth to save him, and to be a great man, as Clark says throughout the movie when he initially listens to the message of Jor-El. But in this movie, they basically are like Zod, where they like shipped him off to Earth to conquer the planet. They basically turned the Jor-El and I guess the Kryptonians in general into the Ultramites, so like sending them there to conquer Earth, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if there's been any other previous DC interpretations of Superman's origin or whatnot, where they've turned Jor-El into a Viltrumite, basically, and sending Kal-El off to Earth to conquer the planet as the last son of Krypton. But I thought that was kind of interesting that they did that, and they introduced that with Lex, and that being like the smoking gun he needed to turn the world against Superman. I thought that was a really nice idea, and I thought that was really well cool. And because of that, I kind of wish we got to see more of them, and we got to actually see Krypton, and we got to see like what led them to this, how is Krypton on this version compared to how it was in the DCEU and other versions of Krypton, where Jor-El does tell him to send him off to conquer Earth. I wish we got into and I love what Zack did with Krypton at the start of Man of Steel. So I kind of wish we got to see a little bit of Krypton in this movie. Not gonna lie, maybe we'll see that in some sequels or something. We'll get to know more about Krypton and Jor-El and everything, man. But that whole thing with the message of him turning into a villain, of him being a villain, telling him that he went to send him to Earth to conquer the planet, I thought was really cool, and I like the way how they did that, man. With everything, man. And to get back what I was saying about Lex, I love Lex. Like I said, he's a base hero. Like, this dude literally had an army of monkeys, mind control monkeys, just to send hate tweets about Superman. And using hashtag super shit and other ones, man. It was so fun. I remember I had seen images of that on Twitter, like a couple, like in passing in the last few days. I didn't know it was from this movie. So when I saw that, still was like, yo, bro, this man got mind controlled monkeys sending hate tweets about Superman. And then we can see some about him being about the jealousy he feels, being mentioned the same breath as like signs like Einstein or whatnot, man. His beef with Superman is so funny, man. Especially like when he captures Crypto, Superman busts into Lex, which also one thing I forgot to mention this earlier. One thing I didn't like about the movie is that I don't like that Lex Corp is called Luthor Corp. Now, as you guys know, man, I don't read Superman comics, so I don't know if this is like the proper terminology or if there was a time in the comics where it was known as Luthor Corp compared to Lex Corp. I just think LexCorp sounds way better, so I don't know if that's going to be like something in the future where they'll eventually change it to LexCorp or whatnot, but I kind of wish it was LexCorp because I just think that sounds better. But anyway, as I was saying, when he busts, which I believe this clip was actually was shown off on Twitter. They released this on YouTube in the lead up to the film's release. Where he busts into Lex's office, man. He's asking where's the dog? Where's the dog? He's like, oh, I don't know, dog. You mean ugly dog with a cape? As he was sipping his coffee, man. That scene was amazing, man. Nicholas Hoult is so fun. It's so great movie, man. And he's the one that has been. You guys know me. I've been a big fan of him since X-Men First Class and following his career since then, man. And I'm so happy to see him get the recognition he deserves from this film and get all the love and attention. He was actually surprised the highest paid actor, which on one hand kind of surprised because I always kind of felt like he was a bit more of an underrated actor, but at the same time I'm also not surprised because he's such a great actor as well. So I was a bit surprised, but not really when it was revealed that he was the highest paid actor on the cast. One other thing to get back to Lex and his unhinged hatred of Superman is that this dude literally got the this Arabic or Middle Eastern shop owner there. This I forget forget what the actual term is, but basically dude had a little stand. He had his own little food stand thing going on there for falafels or some sort of Arabic or Middle Eastern dish. And Superman literally ate there like one time or something, or gave him like some food for free as a thank you for saving him and, you know, helping Metropolis, all that. Lex literally brought this dude into like this pocket, into the pocket dimension he has Superman captured. And this is when we also see him in the suit, which we haven't seen with the holding in the Smith & Wesson revolver pistol thing. That honestly looks like something out of a James Bond movie. Nicholas Hoult looks amazing in the suit. Anyway, where he does that whole thing, and then he's like, oh, let's see, and then he like just starts doing Russian roulette with him, and just to fuck with Superman. And first one it was blank. The second one he shots, he actually got shoot and kill. It's like, oh, I think he died that quickly. Like that scene was just ideas. He's like, I'll go with whoever next you talk to, and he's just like, bruh, Super Lex in this movie is so unhinged with his haters. They're literally grabbing shop owners and bringing them in there to kill them in front of Superman just because they talked to him once. It's true, it's sad, man. Also, I love the scene where I'm pretty sure it was at the end of the movie where Superman saved a squirrel. That was a really cute moment. I really liked that one. Metamorpho, I thought the whole thing with him was cool, man. I thought that was pretty cool. And that's how we get introduced to Kryptonite in the film, man, which I thought was interesting, how they introduced that. But one of the other things that I found that I love about with Mr. Terrific specifically was in the post-credit scene, because there's a mid-credit and post-credit scene. And the mid-credit scene is just like, it's literally just Superman and Krypto overlooking Earth, I'm assuming on the moon, which I think we saw the image of that, but that was like the original image we saw of Krypto when that was released. So that was, but the post-credit scene was hilarious. Where like after the world had been split open by the dimensional king Lex had created, you know, having all these interdimensional portals, they overload and opens and starts to split the Earth in half. And like I said, this is like where I'm like, I'm pretty sure this had more disruption than Man of Steel, because like, you know, Man of Steel just has some buildings and then like literally like split the planet in two because this dimensional portal. Or this dimensional portal or whatnot, man. But once Mr. Terrific finally puts it back together, man, and this scene was so funny where like both him and Superman are looking at this building and it's not flush together, man. And, like one side of the building is like not fully lined one over the other. And Clark kind of points at it and like, what? You want me to tear the pilot apart again just to put it back together? And Mr. Terrific is so pissed off about this. It was so, and Clark's like, man, I could be a real jerk sometime. I love him as Superman in this movie, man. Like I said, I really like that they lean into the whole to the farm boy thing, man, to the Boy Scout farm boy thing, with Superman in this version, man. David plays it so brilliantly, man, and yeah, that was awesome, man. That was such a funny scene. Like I said, Mr. Terrific steals the show, like when Krypto starts eating his terrific spheres, him being like one of Lex guy when they eventually go in there to put the passcode in to stop the portal. He's like, oh, I can. He's like, motherfucker, I don't need you. I'm Mr. Goddamn Terrific, or whatever he said, something along those lines. That seems awesome. So yeah, like I said, I love Mr. Terrific. I love the movie, man. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in future DCU projects. One last thing we gotta talk about real quick before I almost forgot to mention is Ultraman. Where we find out that Ultraman, this one, he isn't like Bizarro, Zod, or like, I don't know what the theories were about Ultraman and who he was. But it ends up being that it was actually a clone created by Lex. Low-key kind of stealing from BVS a little bit with the cloning thing, because as you guys know, in BVS, Doomsday was created by mixing Lex's and Zod's bloods together to create Doomsday, which I don't know if that was meant to be intentional or not, but that's something I was like, oh, this is kind of like BVS with Doomsday. But it's revealed that he's a clone of Lex, or a clone of Superman rather, and basically it seems like he's more or less just like an empty husk that that LexCorp and his goons can pilot like he's a Gundam or something. Judging from the fact he's always like holding up like 9C or something during battles, it makes, and he has like the whole like team of like operators. It makes it like the thing is actually meant to be, I don't know if it's like completely good, but at least like how it came out in the film, like it's this clone is being piloted like it's a Gundam or something, or a Megazord. That's at least the way it came out. I don't know if it's fully like that, and he's just like they're just completely remote controlling, or it's more like they kind of influence him or whatnot. Not entirely sure, but I thought it was kind of interesting. And let's also quickly talk about Jimmy Olsen's ex-girlfriend, that's Lex's current girlfriend. That was a blonde chick that was in all the trailers taking selfies. She was great, man. Honestly, she was so much fun, man. Love her scenes with Jimmy where she's like, oh, like where she's desperately trying to get back together, while Jimmy's like, nah, you don't want none of that smoke. And like, no lie, low key, I gotta ship it. Like, I almost kind of hope in Superman 2 or whatever, or whenever the next time we return to Metropolis and DCU, that those two are actually like fully back together. Like, I feel like this wouldn't be the healthiest relationship, especially for Jimmy, because obviously he's not really into her like that. But I don't know, part of me kind of wants to see them actually, you know, commit to this. Loki, they were so much fun, man, with her and Jimmy, where he's like trying to get information out of her, but making sure, but not making a couple where he's not actually just straight up using her. Like no, I did want to see you. It's so much fun, man. And Loki, she was the MVP, being the one that saved Superman and helped and saved the day in the end. But yeah, she was awesome, man. Shout out to her. This review has gone on long enough, man. I'm pretty sure I've talked about everything I wanted to discuss about this film, man. Phenomenal film, and yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for the DCU, what's next for Superman, and yeah, we are off to the race with the DCU, man. This movie did everything it needed to, and I'm excited to see where we're heading for this next. We have Supergirl coming out. I think that's the next one, Supergirl. Wonder Woman, obviously, that movie's getting fast tracked. Batman is still up in the air. Lanterns is coming. Lanterns, I think, just rep shooting. So it's an exciting time, man. It's an exciting time. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me so you feel like it. Links are across below. And as always, back for more. See you guys next time. She's